Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. If you are just waking up,
good morning.
If you are just turning on your computer, your cell phone, your laptop, you're listening to one of the baddest shows in the land, Community Connections Group. I am one of your hosts, James Linton.
I am the one and only Stacy Sewell.
I'm Paisha Adonis.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
Wake him up, Bruce. Wake him up.
I'm Bruce Ray.
What's happening, y'all? How's
What's
everybody
up?
doing?
Good
I'm
morning.
up. That's all I know.
Right, we're up now. If you wasn't up,
Man,
we're
that
up
good
now.
energy, brother. You bringing
Hey,
it hard, man.
Absolutely.
That's what we do. That's
Yeah.
what we do.
Man, yes, indeedy, man. For those who are on this podcast, we are glad to be here this morning.
Yes, we
Amen.
are.
We
Yeah.
are glad to be here. It was a long journey to get here.
But we're here.
Hey.
Lord, how much we
are
here.
We're here.
Amen.
Lord, we had to walk uphill in the snow backwards with no shoes on.
Hey.
Yeah, eating watermelon and
biofreeze for
grits, but we
you.
got
Wait a
here.
minute, but didn't you fight that polar bear?
Yeah, I had to, Bruce.
Man, check out the hat and the bees. They let
Man,
you know.
let me tell you something.
Safari.
Right, he think
Yeah.
he's doing
I
something
said, he's got
today.
polar bears. He's
Well,
out on the safari.
it's the urban cowboy.
It's the
Urban
urban
cowboy.
Hear that,
y'all.
ladies?
Right now, Beyonce got everybody wearing cowboy
oh
and
my
cowboy
gosh, can you
hats.
believe that? Number one.
Number
Well,
one.
speaking,
Number one.
hold on, let me back up because you brought up big.
back. Oh.
Let me back up. Yeah, and the
Here
real,
we
this
go.
is the real deal, y'all.
Here we go.
When I went to see Beyonce in Louisville, Kentucky at the football stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't real impressed with when they backed the show up because of the weather. And I'm like, who she thinks she is?
Right.
Because I'm a
Beyonce.
fan. I'm a Fantasia Michelle Obama kind of cat.
Yeah,
you
we
know what
know.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
That,
We know that.
Those are my people right there.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
we know
Right.
Those are
that.
my people. I'm still sending them emails and they ain't responding, so I don't understand.
You're
if
on
you
the
watching,
list, that's
if
why.
you watching the podcast, Michelle and Fantasia, holler at a brother. But
Call
anyway,
security first.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, let me tell you about this Beyonce young lady. So she came out about 2 hours late, and I'm already mad. So I said, I got my own silent protest. When she comes out, I'm not standing up, nor am I clapping. I'm not participating with none of this stuff, right? You hear me? So
Okay.
she came out, everybody went crazy, so and I got my arms folded up. I'm like, I'm not doing this, man, because I don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
I really don't want to be here. And then she got the nerve to start the concert late. So I don't want to be here at all. So she came out, that first song, and she got to jamming. And I said, what?
Got your little toes moving. didn't you?
Yeah, I said, my hands was doing like
got
this,
them
y'all.
toes
My hands was
moving,
doing
yeah.
like this. And then I saw the size of the football stage. It was from one side of the sideline to the other side. And then I looked down there, they had these big cameras all the way around the stadium, and she had this little bitty dress on. I said, I better stand up so I can see that. Yeah.
You're like, I need a better view.
So
Yes.
next thing I know, I'm dancing. And I'm like, man, you know, this Beyonce lady is all right.
Yeah.
But what got me? What got me up? Let me tell you something. What got me? Beyonce came out on stage and did like this. The Black Power and said, I love Breonna Taylor. I was done.
Yep,
I was
there you
done.
go.
So now Beyonce's number one. Fantasia's number two. Michelle Obama is number three. So
Wow.
Oh, they
but-
got
so-
Wait a
Guys,
minute.
this
Hold
is
up
like
1 minute.
flashing news right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yes,
So
I'm in shock.
I know.
So
For
Fantasia
to
dropped
be
down.
demoted,
Hey,
She's
but
been dropped down.
the reason why he's doing it like that, he thought he was at the Pink Pony. I had to hit him on the shoulder and tell him,
And give him a
"Hey,
reality
man,
check."
You're
But
not at
Bruce,
the Pink
you
Pony."
were there.
Yeah.
I wasn't standing up, but I am now an official Beyonce fan.
He made me pull out the cardboard so he could
Beyonce
break
sung
dance.
everything that I knew, and then everything I didn't know. And it was one of the best concerts ever.
well, she broke Billboard records this week.
Country.
Yep. First black
Really?
female
Yeah.
Yes.
to ever have
Yeah.
a number one on the country music charts.
I don't
Really?
listen to
Yes.
country music.
You know
but
what?
That,
You know what
that
happened to
song's
her?
bad.
When she was in Louisville, I inspired Beyonce.
With your cowboy hat.
I inspired because I had on cowboy boots. I had on
I'm
cowboy
so
hat.
glad I'm sitting down
and
right now.
I inspired
Yes.
be if you listening.
I'm glad you said
Uh,
that. too.
be if you listening.
Tell her give you a little cut.
Nah, just holler at me. You
holler
ain't
at
gotta give me no money. Just take me out to dinner.
Well, you're
Take
better
me out to
looking than
dinner.
Jay-Z.
And I'm a cheap
That's all
date,
I'm
man.
saying, so
We
you make a
can go to
chance.
Dairy Queen. We can go some of them other smaller restaurants. I won't call everybody's name until they start paying for their commercials.
Right.
But we can go to Big Mo's Barbecue.
That's right.
Speaking
Why
of
not
Big
go
Mo's
to Big
Barbecue,
Mo's Barbecue?
Let's talk about it.
let's talk about that. Everybody knows
Speaking
that.
of Big Mo's barbecue.
Right. Exactly.
Let's pay some bills, y'all. Pay some bills.
Let's pay some
All
bills.
right, let's do it.
If you need barbecue, pulled
it's
pork,
good,
pulled
too.
chicken,
It is.
smoked sausage, jumbo hot dogs, anything, potatoes, salad, baked beans, you got to call Big Mo, 502-345-7018. If you need a mortgage, and your mortgage right now is like $27,000 a month, and you want to get a payment back down to like $500 or $600 or $700, you call me for the refinance debt consolidation. 502-345-7018.
I need to make that call.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
amen.
If you
Amen.
need to use the ice cream truck or the mobile coffee truck, I need you to call 502-345-7018. If you need to go to the ice cream store and get some chili, full service catering, coffee, anything you might need, you call 345-7018, and that's 7525 Outer Loop in Louisville, Kentucky. Feel free to stop by, guys, because we can't stay there unless you support small businesses.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Now, what happens if you're in a car wreck?
Man, if your car fall off the moon and hit the
Ouch.
first star and then fall down on the street and you need repairs,
Repairs?
call Big Mike
Mike.
Rice
Okay.
at 502. Wait a minute.
Somebody slipping on their pimping. Slipping on.
502-4375. I'm sorry, Big
He's
Mike.
slipping. And you know
It's all
what?
right. He still got it. He still got it.
Because we work with, Paige and I work with two, people that got some mental health issues.
Amen.
Right.
If you are needing services for mental health, if you're struggling, if your children are struggling, reach out to me, Stacey Sewell, your therapist, at 502-338-8406.
Yep.
And if
Shout out to Jimmy Sewell for putting up with Stacey all these years, because everybody
You know
who
what's
knows.
coming up next,
What?
Don't you?
Everybody,
Go ahead.
Okay.
What you gonna say?
Go ahead.
I
What
just
was
I
it?
What you
just
gonna
looked
say?
at Bruce. I'm like, you know what's coming up next?
Go ahead.
If you need a back rub, a date, your feet rubbed,
If you need a
tickets to the Pink Pony, call
right.
Bruce.
Call Bruce. Listen,
Bruce.
if you need rent a boyfriend,
Rent
I
a
got
boyfriend.
you covered.
He's
right
available.
here on our
He's
podcast.
available. He's
Our
a-
man Bruce.
That's
Call
right.
502-905-1676. I will rub the bunion off you.
Yeah. And let me tell you,
Not
I'm
even
I'm a
Valentine's
bad
Day
man.
anymore.
Right, that's some special
I'm a
stuff.
bad
Woo.
man.
Are you a bad
let me tell you
man?
something. Baby oil and glitter go a long way, Bruce.
Glitter, holy
Baby oil and glitter go
Hey,
a
don't
long
forget
way.
the now laters.
Oh man,
and
not the grape now, ladies.
Great
Don't
now
start the grape
laters.
now. But all I'm going to say is this. When you call him, just whisper. Because if his wife hears it, it may be on and popping.
Yeah,
Lord.
there
Okay,
you
that's all I
go.
got to say.
Guys, we
There
got
you
a
go.
lot going on in the
Gosh.
city. We got a lot going on in the country.
We sure
We
do.
do. Yes,
But
we do.
I wanted to share with people today just a couple of things that we do at Community Connections Group.
Yeah.
Stacey, if you would, can you tell them our mission statement a little bit?
Absolutely. Here at Community Connection Group, we partner and coordinate resources for the community by promoting education, culture, financial empowerment, and healthy lifestyles to young people to encourage them and produce a positive atmosphere of what we need, peace. Don't we,
Peace.
y'all? Peace.
Peace.
So we also provide food equity to all people with a focus on seniors, homeless, and families in need. And our motto is, we believe in service to others.
Say it
And
with
that
me
is
now on
what-
three. 1, 2, 3. Service to others. All right.
Absolutely.
All
So
right.
that is what we do. That is what we're known for, and that's what we're going to keep doing in the future.
That's
so
right.
we're using our platform to put it out there to help other people, to bring people on. As we always say, Mo, what? You ain't got, as long as you doing a little bit of work, other people don't have to do a lot.
Come on
So,
now.
Yep.
Come on. Come on.
That's
and,
it.
and for you guys, you all know, unless you've been living under the rock, we started a financial literacy program designed for young men between the ages of 13 and 17
Yes.
years of age. It's a 3-year commitment. Paige is going to tell you a little bit about what we do over there.
Yep. So the financial literacy courses, we are offering Banking 101, reading comprehension, preparation and paying for college, managing money, saving and investing, preparing for adulthood, credit and borrowing, renting versus owning, insurance and taxes. So little information for all these young men to help them along the way in life.
And you know what? We've been killing it.
Yes,
Like,
it has been a huge success.
Our program has been very successful.
It blew up. I just
Yes.
posted the pictures a while ago. Man, it's amazing. We were just simply trying to get 30 kids.
Yep.
And then Megan's going to tell me today that we have 160 kids on the waiting list.
Yes.
Amazing.
And the
And,
waiting list is growing.
Yeah.
So if you dragging your feet and you got a young gentleman that's growing up, a young man that's growing up, we need to make sure they're educated and they're prepared for the future. So make sure you reach out. Get your baby on that waiting list. When one class is over and we graduate this group of kids, the
Start
next
right
set
back
of
up.
kids, we start right back up with the next set of kids. So don't let your child be left out. This is a
Amen.
great program.
Amen.
We got a lot of professionals that come every week. They give their expertise to our children. They educate them on things that they learn later on in life, and we're trying to educate your kids at a young age. So don't miss
Bruce
out.
said something today, Stace,
What he said?
that stuck with me.
What stuck with you, man?
Man, when you were talking about to the young people, it's not where you are next Friday. It's where you're going to be on Friday 25 years from now by taking this course.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Just thinking we all knew what we know now about money, savings, and
Oh my
investments,
gosh, yes.
stocks and bonds, where we would be now.
Oh, yeah.
So by giving these young people an opportunity at an early age, we're not only changing their lives, but they're able to go back to their families, their sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers, and talk about what they learned. And man, it's just changing the whole dynamics.
But
of the
you
family.
know what, man?
It does.
When I was young, I always worked. I always worked since I was 14. But I didn't know, as a young man, how important having credit really was.
I didn't
Yes.
know your
You
beard
know.
was great like that, Bruce.
Yeah.
It's always
Oh my
great, Bruce. I
gosh.
didn't
A
even
couple
know.
weeks ago, I
Yeah,
told
no,
you
no, I didn't
how
know.
bright his gray
It's beautiful,
Man, that's
though.
smooth,
Leave
dude.
him alone.
That's
Leave
smooth,
Bruce
He's
man.
been
alone.
using that purple shampoo to
Is
brighten
that real,
it up.
Bruce?
I
Is
know
that,
what
is that
time it is.
a hair weave?
Yeah.
It's glued on, man.
It's
Okay,
good,
okay.
Nah,
yeah.
it's real.
Thought
It's
so.
real.
Okay.
But back to what I was
I'm sorry,
saying.
man. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
I got to deal with this all
Well,
the
I
time.
mean, Mo brought it up, but I'm just wait a minute. Are you embracing your gray now? Before a minute, you and Mo were
Please
using just
embrace
for
the
me.
gray.
Please, the women, we
Yes,
think
women
gray is
love
sexy.
gray. Yes.
We
getting gray,
love
too.
the gray.
I'm getting
Yes,
gray too.
real women like gray.
Yes.
See what I got to go through,
Grown
y'all?
women do.
Yeah,
Can y'all
grown
let
women.
Bruce talk?
You see what I got to go
Bruce
through,
got
y'all?
Yeah, sorry, back
Do
to
you see
financial
what I got to
literacy.
go through, people?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just
Lord
saying.
have mercy.
What I was
Now-
saying was, it's so important, man. I pay for cash my whole life, everything.
Cash on everything.
And it got so bad that I had to put stuff in other people's name. So, so I could keep it. Well, I thought I was keeping it. Well, anyway, so you got to let them know how important it is to start off young.
Credit's important.
And credit, yeah.
Credit's important.
Credit's
Credit's so
very
important.
important.
Yes, indeed.
That was
Yes,
my
indeed.
point, big
Yeah,
boy.
yeah.
And we want
Yeah.
to educate our children before they go off to college, because one thing we talked about before is that when our kids go off to college, you have all these banking companies and
Credit
these
cards.
representatives and credit card companies that come in and say,
Absolutely.
hey, fill this out.
Student
We got
loans,
a credit card for you.
Grants you
I
don't
wanna hear
need.
about
Right,
it.
and then
More
your,
debt,
right,
more
your
debt.
babies
Oh
are
my
opening
gosh.
these cards and not really knowing that, hey, you running your credit before you even get started.
Yep.
So what we're trying to do is prevent that and educate.
And the last thing I want to talk about is our diversity, equity, inclusion breakfast we started almost 9 years ago, where we saw a need to talk about racism in the country and talk about leveling the playing field, bringing money into neighborhoods and areas and parts of town that have been just left standing there with no way to make any money, no way to create any resources, crime and poverty just running wild. So we've been talking about that for about 9 years. We put 200 people in the room sometimes who don't know each other so they can network and begin to talk about real issues that happen in communities, not just in Louisville, Kentucky, but all across the country.
Yes.
I mean, this thing is real, guys.
Yep.
We have to start. We are much better working together than we are separately, and we got to shake off all these haters. Everybody can't ride on the train. I'm just trying to
Absolutely.
tell
Amen.
y'all, man. Everybody
room.
can't get on the train. We try to bring everybody along, but it's like dead weight. It's like going through quicksand sometimes. So
But sometimes we're gonna leave people on the sidewalk.
man,
Let the train
leave 'em
take
where they
on
are.
off,
There
right?
are going to be casualties of war.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
and this is a war that we live in. So, man, so I'm excited, man, about what we're doing at Community Connections Group. Somebody give the website because I need people to start going to the website so you can follow our newsletter, you can follow the podcast, you can follow everything we're doing. And you just go to the homepage. Who has the website?
I do. It's www.communityconnectionsgrp.org. Again, that's www. You don't have to do www because everybody knows www. But Community Connections.
But your friends.
Everybody-
But Stacey's friends.
But not just that.
Yeah, Stacey's
Hold it.
friends. Yeah.
We have some seniors that are not really that computer savvy, and so I want to make sure they know. So www.communityconnectionsgrp.org. Here you go. Go on and hit a rap song. Hit it. Hit it.
www.
Yes.
www.
So go to that website, and you will be able to click on the link to get where you need to be. And also, we're also going to have a link on there for our podcast. So
Yep.
Yeah, check us out, man.
Check it out.
Yep. Leave your email address.
Listen,
You can stay in contact.
knowledge, love, peace, and harmony.
Yeah, check us out, man.
That's all. That's all I'm gonna say to y'all. Look, we're about providing hope and leaving people in a better position than where they were when they first met us.
absolutely.
I guarantee you, when you leave one of our events, guaranteed. And when you leave this podcast, you're gonna be blessed. We got a great
Guaranteed.
guest getting ready to come up in a few minutes, man, who's out there representing young people all over the city,
Yeah.
blowing up, doing some remarkable stuff. And we're gonna be bringing him in just a few minutes.
Just a
but,
few minutes.
But to you guys right here, man, this is all I want to say. My love, there's only you
Oh my
in my
God.
life.
Oh, sing it to me,
Oh,
baby.
The only thing that's right. Take it, Bruce.
Ooh, love. Oh, love. He's
Okay,
making
I'm
me
done.
cry.
So for
I'm weak over here. I'm weak. I'm weak.
Aisha, we're both weak.
Okay.
So for everybody that Mo and Bruce is always talking about, they like the Temptations and they want to sing at your event. Y'all just got a little sample.
Hey, I'm
So,
like Big Luther.
Say prayers for
Big-
Stacey
not Little
and I.
Luther, I'm
We
Big
do
Luther.
it every
Please
day.
say a
Big
prayer
Luther.
for us.
But hey, but all I want to say is, y'all, real quick, check out the podcast.
That's right.
Tell
That's
you
right.
we're fun.
It's bomb.
Yeah. Community Connections, grp.org. Leave your email so you can stay in contact with
Yes.
us. You know, obviously, you can see you never know what you're going to get. We're going to be uplifting, funny, have good guests, and keep it real all at the same
Oh,
time.
All
yeah.
at the same
Hold on. Before we bring the guest
Yeah,
up,
man. What you
last
doing?
night,
Oh, Lord.
Lord have mercy. And why did she tell me this?
Oh, God.
Lord, she has a 16-year-old son, and she said she is not allowed to go into his bedroom.
What?
And I-
Why would you say it to me? You know how I am about stuff like that.
And I almost hung up the phone.
You should have, because I would
Because
have.
I said, how can he live in your house for free and you don't have access
And he tell you
to
what room
his
you can go in.
bedroom? You don't have access to his cell phone. You don't have access to what he's doing with his friends. How are you raising this child? And then if you can't have access to his bedroom, he needs to buy his own house.
He
needs
probably
to be
already
like that.
paying the
Yeah,
rent.
yeah.
He's probably already paying the bills.
But I could not believe that sister said that to me. She called me. She's like, I need to get him in your program
She need
because
more-
I
she needs
can't
more
do
than
nothing
She
with
program.
him.
needs more than
And-
to get him in our program. She needs a lot more than that.
Well, what I told her, I said, look, first thing you got to do is have a relationship with God, and then you got to get some parenting skills.
Absolutely.
Amen.
You got to get some parenting
Tell
skills.
him
Because
go
you
get that
cannot, I'm old
switch.
school. I could not live in my daddy's house, and everything I had, he wouldn't have full access to it.
Well, my
I couldn't
question
live
is,
there.
why is there even a door on that bedroom?
A roof. Now, my daddy would have took
Yeah.
the door
The
down.
whole
Take the door down.
My daddy
would
would have took the door down.
Absolutely.
You don't,
My
you
dad
don't
would
have to
take
worry
the door
about it
down.
being locked. You don't have a door.
Let me
gotta
tell you
worry-
something.
gotta worry about
And
it.
Jimmy
You
Sewell.
Jimmy
Sewell.
Jimmy would have gone
Jimmy
nuts.
Sewell. There's been a hole in the wall.
Right.
There's been a hole in the wall.
Door
Bruce
kick
Ray.
in and everything. You don't live in my house and tell me what I can and can't do. You don't live in my house and I don't know what's going on in your bedroom and in your life. You don't live in my house while I'm paying your cell phone bill and you don't think I'm going to snatch that phone every now and then and meddle through it when you're an underage child. Now, when you become an adult and you want to be an adult, then you pack your stuff, you move out of my house,
you
and you can
talking
do
about
whatever
me?
you want to do.
You talking about me? I ain't gonna worry about that because I'm gonna live in a efficiency studio apartment.
Okay.
So you ain't gonna have nowhere to sleep in.
They gotta move. They gotta move.
Yeah.
Hey, when they get 12, start leaving pamphlets from the Army and the Navy on the bed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it gets under my skin a little bit like it do you, Mo, because we're old school. Everybody up here is pretty much old school. That's in our podcast.
Well, you older than all of us, though.
Well, whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
I might be older, but I look younger.
Yeah, well, you do.
And
You
I'll
do.
take
it.
It's
Look at
Jimmy
that
Stewart
skin.
doing your hair and your makeup. That's what that is. So, but you look good for
but
95.
Really, like
You
we,
saying?
when we hear things like that, we just go like, wow, because we know, because we're all parents here, we would never allow one of our kids to be in our household. And you tell me, don't go in my room, don't look at my phone, don't meddle through my stuff. That would never fly with anybody on this podcast, okay? So when we talk on this podcast, we keep it real from our own experiences.
100.
We're not going to baby nobody. We ain't going to sugarcoat a topic. We're going to dig deep into those topics and talk about how we were raised, how we raised our kids, and how things have changed throughout life. So get prepared for it when you turn into this podcast. We keep it 100.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen.
Muhammad Ali's 6 core principles: confidence, conviction, dedication, giving, respect, and spirituality. So you apply those 6 principles to parenting or anything in life, you can win. So without further ado, we like to bring in our first guest.
Yeah.
Our first guest of the year on the first podcast. This man really needs no introduction. You saw him on BET Comic View. I like to throw it in there, brother. You saw him last week at the comedy showcase on Barstown Road. You saw him at Big Mo's Barbecue. You saw him at Highview Ice Cream and Coffee. And just came over from Black Coffee over in Louisville. What's happening, big brother? How you doing? Good morning.
Yo, it's Bryon Keith. Bryon Keith from Brand Official. I'm happy to be in the building.
Grab that mic, Brian, a little bit. Bring it to you a little bit. Give your name, Brother Brian, one more time for me.
So my name is Bryon Keith, and I'm the owner of Brand Official. And this business right here is a faith-based mental health awareness brand. So it stands for mentally overcome, defeat everything. So the goal is that we mentally overcome our struggles and defeat everything that's preventing us from moving forward in life. So essentially, we represent Jesus while keeping our mental health intact.
That was cold what you just said, man.
That
Do
was
that one more
right
time. I really like that, bro.
Jesus while
Yes.
keeping our mental health intact.
He said we represent Jesus while keeping our what?
Mental
Health intact.
Well, that was cold,
Yes.
man. Yeah, keep rolling.
So
Tell me, is that the design and the logo on your shirt?
Yes, sir. So this is one of my logos, and this is the design. So it has the cheetah, and it has the mental overcome defeat everything. Reason why I chose this is because my favorite animal is a cheetah. But look at the mindset of a cheetah. It has to hunt. If it doesn't hunt, it doesn't eat. So essentially, you got to hunt for your family. So when I thought of like a mascot for my brand, I said, what can I create that's really going to speak to what this brand means? So the mindset of a cheetah says, yo, I got to hunt for my children. I got to hunt for my cubs. I got to hunt for my family. So essentially, for us, that's the mindset we should have towards pursuing a relationship with Christ. We got to seek him first before anything else and anybody else. And then when it comes to our mental health, we also have to make sure that we're well. We got to take care of ourselves because it's important, especially in our community.
absolutely.
Absolutely. That was very well said, my brother. Now, if somebody who is listening to this podcast is being broadcast all over the world,
Yes, sir.
how can they get one of them shirts and get a hold of you, my brother?
So first and foremost, you can go to modebrand.com. That's our website, and you can also find
Is
us
that
on-
MO brand?
Yes, ma'am. So modebrand.com. So www.modebrand.com.
www.
Don't forget the www.
Not the
right.
WW.
Yeah.
Not the WW.
Put it on there.
Yeah.
Put it on there.
Right, so www.modebrand.com, and you can also find me on Mode Brand Official. So Mode Brand and Official, that's all one word.
Now, do you make those in sexy sizes like 3X and 4X?
We getting up there.
Okay. Because I
Right
know a
now,
lot
it's
of
small through
times
2X.
they got them little
Come
bitty
on, man.
sizes. What?
Small and what? too small?
Man.
He said small and too small.
Hey, he wants us to wear him as a halter top. You know what I'm saying? That's what he wants.
Hey.
You got to put some X's on these, man.
Never
We
got
old
stuff
school.
for the big guys.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, the big guys, you know, right now the big guys
3,
are in
4.
and, you know, they big sexy right now. So you got to take those sizes up. You want to
Absolutely.
make sure
Yes.
you're covering everybody because we want to make sure you're making all the queens, okay?
Right.
And we don't need any
Every
halter
size.
tops up in
Every
here,
Yeah.
okay?
I don't want to see they stomach
man.
hanging out.
We don't need to see too small.
No, man, I was
Right.
307
Not
before
at
I had my kidney transplant, right? And now I'm down, I'm way down, but I still like to wear it loose,
Right, you
Because
want
I'm
your
old
stuff
school.
fitting.
I wanted a little loose and a little sexy, leave something for the imagination. Because me and Bruce do a lot of baby oil. You know what I'm saying? And blue grease. You got to put blue grease on your ball.
Hey, man, but
Not the
hey,
blue
I don't
grease.
want to see
Not
you
the
coming
blue
in
grease.
here in no triple small shirt and pink fluffy
You know I couldn't
fur
do it.
boots
You know I'm from the
with your
projects, Bruce.
cowboy hat
I'm
on
from the projects. I couldn't do it, baby.
and saying, "Hey, Bruce."
I couldn't do it, man. I'm
know-
an
hey.
old school player.
I know it,
I'm
man.
an
I
old
was
school
going to
player.
say
Somebody,
now, bro.
somebody Google me real quick, James.
Diamond in the
old
back.
school player.
So what?
Yeah,
What's
Google
that?
me,
Google
Big
him.
Mo. Google me one time. So
God
back
only knows what
in
you
the
find.
day, Lord, before I got old, boy, it was something else going on out there, boy.
That's when you had
Diamond in the
hair.
back.
Yeah,
That was a long time ago,
Yeah,
y'all.
yeah.
When you had hair.
Bro.
And now, I'm just sitting still in my rocking chair.
Ain't nothing
You know
wrong
what I'm
with
saying? It's time to sit back and relax and watch young brothers like you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let the
Here-
young people
Appreciate
have
that.
it.
Yeah,
Appreciate
take
that.
over.
Yeah.
Pass,
Let me ask you a
pass the torch.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
What made you start your brand? What made you start this brand?
So I started my company in 2020. So it was literally in the middle of the pandemic. And I'm just going to take it back. The originality of my brand wasn't even what you see today. Originally, it was called Motivation Opens Doors Every Time. So essentially that meant when you motivate, you can do anything. But then as I began to grow and scale, I used to work at UPS, and that really tested me mentally. I feel like God used that place to really grow me and how I handle business with the supervisors, as well as it grew me. And as far as my mindset, because I realized, their volume is crazy. We talking about hundreds of thousands of volumes
Right.
package coming through every single day. So I was one of the best one in there slinging. And God makes no mistakes. Once I left that job, he gave me this new meaning, mentally overcome, defeat everything.
Amazing.
And essentially it meant you have to get into a different type of mode to achieve your goals and dreams. That was the focus.
Yeah.
But then fast forward to last year, 2023, July, he gave me a new meaning and said, you know what, son? That was cool then. Now I need you to represent me as well as mental health, because it takes me back to what I struggled with at 15, 16 years old. I struggle with anxiety and depression.
That's what I was getting ready to ask.
I
was getting ready to ask you that.
And then essentially what ended up happening is I found my first gift, which is to speak. So once I found that gift, I realized, let me start motivating people, because I would read God's word, grow my relationship with him. I was praying. I was in his word. And even though I would doubt a little bit, I would continue to stay faithful and consistent. So once I began to seek him, I began to learn more about God, and I found God more, which essentially allowed me to find myself. So once I started motivating myself through what I was going through, now when I look back at 24 years old, free from anxiety and depression, what do you see? You see a man that is unashamedly representing Jesus while keeping our mental health intact.
Wow.
All right.
Let me ask you a question
Amen.
real quick. Let me ask you a question. There's a stigma in the black community
It is.
about talking to somebody, and Stacey, you can help me with this. Talking to somebody about mental health issues, talking to somebody about getting depressed,
Correct.
talking to somebody about having some problems, talking to somebody about having some anxiety. Why do you believe that we put labels on people when people are simply reaching out for help?
So essentially it takes me back. I didn't grow up like this, but I know we as black men, let's just take it there. We as black men, we're taught to, you got to be hard. You got to be strong. You can't be soft, or you a punk if you start crying. So essentially it's one of those things where you realize that's what's glued into our brains. Oh, it's soft if you go to a therapist. Oh, it's soft if you talk to somebody. But essentially, I remember being 15 and 16, and I'm just going to be transparent. I remember coming home crying like, what is really going on with me? So essentially, I realized for me, it was me seeking God. That's how I got free. But essentially, let's take it a step further. That's the first piece for me. But now at 24 years old, I realized the second piece is God uses people. We're not meant to be one man and one woman island. So essentially, going to a therapist is allowing you to talk to somebody that's been educated and skilled to be able to help you dig deep through that. So for me, I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't need therapy, but somebody else may. So let me represent Jesus by saying, okay, cool. I seek the relationship first. That's how I got saved. But for some people, they may need him as well as therapy. So I feel like the stigma in the Black community is really understanding that you're not soft if you need to talk to somebody. You're not soft if you struggle with depression. You're not soft if you struggle with anxiety. That's just something that you're struggling with today, but you can overcome that and be a better person tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yep. Piggyback on that.
I was going to say,
Come here, then come here.
okay. Well, you know, what we were talking about before with our community connections group, we work with young adolescent men. So what would your advice be in regards to having the strength to break that stigma and also to have the initiative financially to get out on your own and start your own business, because it's tough?
For me, I would say my advice is you can't be afraid. Like at the end of the day, I stand on Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So essentially, when you first start a business, it's going to be scary. And I'm going to be honest, you're not going to know what you're doing essentially. But I feel like from guidance, like when you're able to understand that, okay, what has God created you for? What is your purpose? What is your calling? So my advice would be to understand that in order to really start a business, in order to really elevate in life, you really got to find out what you're passionate about so that you're not just working dead-end jobs or doing anything like that. So my advice to the youth is find out what you're passionate about. Find that gift. Find out what God put you here on earth to do. Focus on that thing. And when you do that, essentially, you'll be living a purposeful life. Because I got to the point at 24 years old, I turned 25 this year, where I'm like, everything I do, I want it to be purposeful. I want it to be for a reason.
Lord, I got shoes older than 25. Shoes, 25 years old.
Yeah, so,
what a blessing it is to hear you speak like that, young man.
So it's like the youth, like we really struggle with a lot. And I feel like it's different because, see, back in the old school with the OGs, you didn't have all this social media. You got people comparing themselves to these rich people, these rappers. Oh my gosh, I'm behind. So for me, when I look at social media, I'm like, that's cool. I can get inspired, but let me stay in my own lane. Let me focus on what God has called me to do. Let me stay in my lane, because when I stay in my lane, God gonna do his thing.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So my question is, for our young males, a lot of times our environment plays a big part on how they're guided.
Correct.
And so as a young man, where you raised up at? What area?
Originally I was born down in the West End, and then I ended up being raised in the suburbs because somebody unfortunately got killed in our neighborhood when I was young. My father said, I'm not putting my family through that. So
that y'all moved, right?
Right.
So
correct.
a lot of times we have our young youth that live in an environment that is detrimental, when I say, to their upbringing. And it's hard for kids to detach from a surrounding that you look at every day. So what would you say to a young man that may be living in an area that's not the best, but want more out of life but don't know how to get there? What would you say to a child that want to change their life but fearful because their friends are doing this or doing that and they don't really want to engage in that because they want their path to go differently? What encouraging words would you have for them?
So essentially, I can use myself in an example. You got to understand, when you get to a certain point in life, when you really want more, sometimes you have to detach from those people that you grew up with. Everybody can't go where God is taking you. So if you have aspirations of getting out of that environment, but your friends is like, oh, bro, you lame. You, like, you know how it go, oh, you turning your back on us. Essentially, you have to change your environment. In order to change your life, you have to change your environment. You have to get around people that are essentially where you want to be. So, perfect example. If you want to be an NBA player, you're not going to go to a teacher to learn how to play basketball. You're going to go to a gym. You're going to go to a coach. So you got to surround yourself with those people.
With positive people.
Right, positive people.
Positive people.
So essentially, when you're in that environment, it's really hard, I feel like, sometimes to detach yourself because you feel like you're stuck. But essentially, the first thing you have to do is change your mindset. You got to start speaking life to yourself. You got to start telling yourself, I can get out of this situation. I can grow. I can be the best I could be. I can provide a better life for my family. And that's why one of my favorite scriptures is Proverbs 18:21. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Those who love it will eat its fruits. So essentially, if you speak that death over yourself, saying I'm broke, I'm in poverty, I'm gonna stay here, you will stay here.
Absolutely.
Because your mouth is speaking
Into
and that's
existence.
creating your reality. But once you say, "Oh, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," I'm gonna provide a better life for my family. I'm gonna get educated. I'm gonna learn how to invest. I'm gonna create a business that's gonna be able to pass down wealth for my family. You gotta speak life. So first thing I would say is change your mindset. Start thinking more high level. Don't speak that death over yourself. Second thing I would say is change your environment. If those people that you're around are not aligning with where you want to go, you got to let them go. And it's hard.
It is hard.
And let me tell you this.
Went to college with them, but you have to separate yourself because they're not going where you want to go.
Let me say this to you. Even when you get grown, okay, every once in a while you should take a look at your cell phone and say
Go
the
through those contacts.
last 6 people that called me, were they talking about God, family, business, improvement of yourself, or were they just gossiping and wasting my time checking in?
That's the one.
So every once in a while, look at your cell phone and see who you're in contact with,
Right, who you
because you
engaging
are
with.
a product of your environment.
That
So
is
it's
true.
okay to have some change, Bruce.
Yeah,
right?
you got to look around.
Yeah.
You got to look around.
But the thing about it is, I don't have a question, but I'm going to piggyback on what you're saying. The thing, my true belief is, God put you on the path for a reason. He always put you on the path for a reason. We actually don't know what our calling is.
Yep.
We don't know what our calling is till we get to that fork in the road.
Yeah.
And the thing about that fork in the road, it's always going to be consequences. You get consequences with bad things that you do, consequences with good things that you do.
So you say
Yes.
decisions and choices.
So when
Yeah.
you get to that
Decisions
fork,
and choices.
it's your choice as a
Right.
man to go left or right, and that's what God does. And the blessing comes from people. He put people in your life. That's how you receive them. God can't come from the sky and pull his hand down from the heavens and give you what you need, but he always put the right people in your life at the right perfect time.
And I'm gonna
Right.
bounce off of that because when the Lord does send his angels, I always call them angels whenever they're coming to improve your life or improve your mental status or improve your wealth or whatever. When people come your way, you have to be open for change, right? Because if somebody's coming here and they're trying to give me some good advice because they see I'm great, hit that brick wall, but yet I'm so stubborn, I'm set in my ways that I hear you, man, but I'm really not listening. And then you miss that opportunity of something that you can learn from, right? So people do come your way to give you those blessings, but you got to be open to what? Receive them.
But
Yeah.
you know what? We as a people, man, we got one problem. We don't listen.
Exactly. That's my point.
Well-
We think we got all the answers, and we think we know everything.
And we don't.
Yep. And you have to also realize lots of times when you're making the right decisions in your life,
got on
it's
lipstick.
lonely. I always have on
She
lipstick.
had to be ready for the
Tasia got on
podcast.
lipstick, y'all. Look it up. Y'all look beautiful.
Oh, man. Don't
You
bust
know-
it like that, man.
That's right, Paige. Get it, girl. Hit it.
Okay. You know I always wear lipstick. Why are you calling me out now? But okay, so back to the podcast.
Right.
Reel it in. Sometimes making the right choice for yourself is lonely.
It is.
And you have to realize and have strength in yourself and rely on God until the people come in that Stacy was talking about. Because you do have to detach. And sometimes that means you're not going out Saturday night, you're at home.
Working on what?
Yourself
craft.
and
Exactly.
your
And what
your
you're
craft,
building.
your relationship with God, whatever it may be.
Your craft is yourself.
Yes.
This camera zoom in on me because we got like 30
Right
or
there.
40 different cameras.
Right
So-
there.
Which
Well,
one?
if you would
Which
have been
one?
paying attention.
It's like 40, 50 cameras right here.
If you would have been
Okay.
paying attention
There's
to
like
the
cameras
directions
everywhere,
that
man.
was given
This
to
brother
you,
got this place hooked up in
I
there,
know.
man.
You
Oh
would
my
know
God.
that camera right there.
Okay,
That's for you.
This is real right here. This is real from the bottom of my heart. Fantasia, I'm tired of playing with this thing.
Oh, man.
I'm tired of playing with this thing, okay? Like, you know how I feel about you. The day you came to Louisville at the concert, and I got to take you some barbecue back there, and you had on that little bitty dress. I saw the way that your legs was looking at me,
Oh, man.
and my eyes was looking at your legs.
And the way security was looking at you.
Oh, they told me not to go in there. The next thing I know, they surrounded me.
Because you a stalker.
But I'm like, I'm not giving her the food until y'all let me in. She gonna be hungry before this concert, so they let me in. So Fantasia, we gotta quit playing with this thing, man. Go to Fantasia. Give the website. Fantasia. Go to the website.
Fantasia. He already said that you fell down.
That's okay. Give the website somebody. Fantasia. Go to the website. Leave your email, your phone number. Wait for a brother to call you because this has been going on too long, and I know you feel the same way I feel. Because and that's why I wore this hat today. Because it's a cowboy hat. I want you to know. I ride horses too. You know what I'm saying?
It's a rodeo.
Either that or she can ride you, right? Which one is it? Which one?
CommunityConnectionsGRP.org.
Right.
Fantasia.
Oh my God!
I lost it
he
for a
went
second,
left.
Bruce.
I want to piggyback off something
left.
that she said.
Yes.
So
Reel us back in, please.
Please reel us back
So
in.
look, one of the fastest prayers that I realize God will answer is God change my circle of influence. Remove those people that
Out
are
of my life.
not
Yeah.
supposed to go where I'm supposed to go. Because essentially, it's like this. God puts people in your life for seasons. Some is short, some is long, some is forever. Until he come back. So you have to deal with people in the way that they are placed in your life. So essentially, it's one of those things like you got to deal with people in accordance to the season that they hold into your life. So it's one of those things where it's like, yo, you got to realize, okay, God, put the people in my life that are supposed to be, remove those people that are not supposed to be. Whoever season is up, remove those people and bring those people in my life that are meant. So it's
And
one
that's
of
the
those
prayer
things where-
right there.
Yeah, like that's the prayer. Like God changed my circle of influence because He'll do it. That's why I'm in this building right now. Because God changed my circle of influence. I started.
Yeah, let me ask you
getting out.
this real quick, and be transparent, honest. Do you get resistance from family and friends about the way you living now? Or is everybody on board saying, you know, we're gonna walk with you?
I do.
But you have
It's both.
I know you do.
You gotta-
I know you do.
But here's the thing about it: when God puts a mighty calling in your life,
Tell
you
it,
gonna,
man.
Look, you gonna
Tell
get
it,
that
man.
resistance. You're gonna get resistance from family that don't understand why you going down that path. Why you not wanting to work up the ladder like everybody else? Why you don't? Because God has put a different calling on my life. That worked for y'all or that worked for them back then. But it's one of those things where when you realize that God has put a mighty calling on your life, He's gonna call you in a different direction than what your parents did. Essentially, what does the saying say? Each generation is supposed to get better. So what y'all did work for y'all generation.
When you know better, you do better.
What God got us doing is going to work for our generation so we can actually set ourselves up. Because I heard y'all talking about financial literacy. We don't talk about that in our neighborhoods, in our communities.
In
so
school
it's like
either.
I'm 24 years old. I had to read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
That's right.
But the
Great book.
rich and wealthy parents teach their children that the poor and middle class don't. Essentially, you got to change that mindset. So it's one of those things where it's understanding that, yo, you're going to get resistance from family and friends. So like what you said, you're going to have lonely seasons.
But the thing about
I've had lonely seasons at 24 where
And the
I'm
thing
like, okay,
is-
it's just
Wow.
me and God.
Wow.
And it's
Wow.
okay. Listen,
And it's okay to go
it's
through that.
okay to lose people as you're growing. You're
Correct.
going to lose people as you're growing. You know why? They're not on the same path as you.
Correct.
That's why we have so many different lanes. My lane may be to go another mile down the road. Their lane is to make a left. Right? And it's okay to let them make that left while you continue on your journey. A lot of people hinder their growth because they want to make sure that they're keeping the same people around them. When you're growing, when the plant grows, guess what happens? It keeps going up. You can plant two plants. You can have two plants. You can do everything the same. Put the seeds in, the food, the nourishment, water them, lighten everything. One plant will grow more than the other, and you'll be questioning like, why this plant ain't growing? I'm giving it the same thing.
Do me a favor,
It
real
ain't
quick.
meant for it to grow.
Do me a favor.
but
Do me a
yes.
favor, real quick. But while you on that, I need you to talk about your son Anthony. I need you to talk about your daughter real quick. Because when we have young people who are doing what you are doing, young man, we have to shout them out. So
Absolutely.
talk about Anthony. Talk about your daughter.
So, and one of the things I always tell people, it's not where you live, it's how you live. I raised all of my kids in the West End of Louisville right off of 22nd and Hill Street. Never had a problem at all. Ran a Little League program for over 16 years. My son was raised in the hood. When he went to high school, I sent them to the sales of private school. When I tell you I got so much backlash behind that, why are you making your son go to an all-boys school? He don't want to be there where ain't no girls. Why come he can't go to Central? I'm male, I'm manual. He's going where I'm going to send him at, right? Because I run my household the way I run my household. That was the best decision my husband and I ever made, because it prepared him not only for the real world, it prepared him to sit in rooms with people that do not look like him and feel comfortable being around them. My son started in the hood. Right now, he probably owns over $6.5 million worth of property in northern Kentucky. It's not by coincidence, and it's still growing.
Yep.
He has his own construction company that comes in and redoes all of these things. This is not something I sit around and brag about, right? But when I talk to our young youth, and he'll be here to talk to our youth that's in our literacy program, because what people don't understand is you got to sacrifice. And honey, we done prayed a whole lot of times, a lot of nights, and I still pray for my kids every night. He sold his first house, and when he made it, well, he called himself making it when he got a good job. Y'all know how we do as young people. He went and bought him a house. I was proud of him for buying a house, and he went and bought a BMW. I'll never forget it. He pulled up in his drop-top BMW. But when he decided to invest and get into property, he came home one weekend, he said, Mama, I'm selling everything. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, I'm selling my house, I'm putting it up for sale, and I'm getting rid of this BMW. And that's exactly what he did. He took the money and he invested in his first property. And he just not long ago, about 2 months ago, he bought a whole block, the whole entire block that he's redoing. So when you say it ain't where you were raised, it's how you're raised.
Yep.
Right? And so one thing he does, he never forgets where he come from, and he still works his 9-to-5 job. And I asked him why he still works, because he makes all this money, you know. He says, because it keeps me humble.
Amazing.
It keeps him humble.
Keeps you humble.
Absolutely.
Like
Talk about your baby.
Okay, well, one of my babies. So my daughter Aaliyah, she's in 5th grade, and I'm so proud of that little girl. You know, she's had struggles. She has OCD. She's struggled with anxiety. She is just a bridge of strength, and she's a straight A student. We've been through many things as a family. She's struggled being biracial. And that little girl is just the epitome of strength. She just fights through it. She already has a relationship with the Lord, and she does everything in her path to be a good person. So I'm just so incredibly proud of her strength that she shows at 11 years old.
And you know what? And I'm going to
speaking about being white, you and Stacy look just alike over beside each other. I couldn't tell the difference, right? Both of them red bones, y'all. But Bruce, do me a favor.
Wait a minute before Bruce goes.
Go ahead.
Because I want to piggyback off her baby. Like, it's a struggle. Just the kids nowadays are just so mean. Yeah. And at times are cruel when they don't want to be. But I always tell people when a child is a bully, 9 times out of 10, one of their parents was a bully. Because sometimes it's learned behavior, right? And so when we think about our kids and our kids going to school and our kids feel like they're being judged by other kids and, they get their little cliques and they don't want to talk to them. And then when you're biracial, it just adds another component to it. You know what I'm saying? It makes it even harder because you're trying to figure out where you fit in at. Who am I fitting in with? Who's going to be my friend? Today they may be my friend, tomorrow there's something else. So mental health is real when it comes to our children, and we got to be their support. And I just want to applaud you, Mom. I want to applaud my sister for identifying it and being on top of it. Yep. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you guys both for sharing like it. I love putting you on the spot because what you guys have been able to do has been amazing. And then once you achieve those goals, it's not for you anymore. You got to share that. So it encourages somebody else. Now, Bruce, I'm coming back to you, my brother. I need you to just be transparent on this podcast real quick. I want to talk about where you came from in recovery and what you were doing with It Takes a Village, how we have to feed the homeless all the time, feed families all the time, all through COVID, feeding everybody because of the way that you changed your life and decided to give your whole life to perform a service to others. Can you just talk about your story real quick?
Yeah, man. You know, one time in my life, I was an alcoholic and a crack addict. And the thing about me, man, I've been homeless. I slept on the streets. I always had a job, though, but I slept on the streets. You know, I didn't even ate garbage before, you know, but to survive. And but the thing about it is, man, the day I decided to get clean and sober was I almost burnt my house down. I had a house. Man, I done had 3-4 houses, and the dope took them away from me. But the night before I decided to get sober, I almost burnt my house down. And I wasn't married at the time, but she worked out of town. And the funny thing is, she came in on me from Cincinnati, and I heard her come through the garage. I ran out the front door, high as a Georgia pine. And I ran out the front door, and I hid behind the smallest tree in the yard.
Like she couldn't see you.
Thinking I was high.
Like you was invisible, man.
Thought he was invisible. But when you high, you think like that.
So,
but go ahead.
you know, I thought I couldn't be seen. So, man, but, you know, that right there, it changed my mind. Then when I went to recovery, I sat there one night, man, and I prayed to God real hard, and I looked up at the sky and seen a cross lit up. And the thing about recovery, see, God uses you in all kind of different ways. You know, we think our families is turning their back on us, but they confused because they know how you was one time in your life, and they see the change in you now. So it confuses them. But God is using you to show somebody else in your family that's struggling with the same thing that you struggle with, and he's showing them that if you could do it and change your life, you could do the same thing.
Absolutely.
All you got to do is just follow the same footprints and the same steps, the footprints in the sand. He always carry you. So he carried me, man. I told God, I said, if you save me, I'll be a maximum servant to you for the rest of my life. That right there created It Takes a Village, which fed the homeless vets. And I've been doing that for so long. I used to go into the homeless camps, and I used to sit there on my birthday, celebrate my birthday with them with a sheet cake, ice cream, and just sit there on the stoop with them. And we used to talk about all kind of things, man. And I even brought some of them guys out of the camp into recovery. So, you know, the questions always asked to me, you know, what did you do to get where you at? People don't believe, man, that I used to be a crackhead.
They don't know your story.
You know, and I tell that to people. People tell me, you lying, you ain't never, don't believe. Look how you live now. Hey, man.
And tell you, and you're humble.
The
You're
thing
humble about it.
you know, hey, I've been through a war, man. I've been through a war.
As they say, thank God I don't look like what I've
Come
been
on,
through.
Stacey. Come on.
Right?
That's right.
I mean, you know, that's Bruce Ray, you know. So, you know, man, I've been to hell and back. I know what the bottom of the barrel feels like when you're scraping that rock. I know what it feels like, man. But, hey, I also know what it feels like being clean and sober. And I also
And it's
know
a
what
wonderful
it feels
thing,
like
isn't it?
being saved by God, man. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
And thank you for sharing that. Somebody give the website again. I need everybody to go and sign up for our podcast, our newsletter. All the events that we're doing throughout the year will be on this
On the website.
sign up sheet when you sign up. Go to the homepage.
And when you go to our homepage, you will also see like all pictures where we go and donate, give out food. You'll see what Community Connections is really about. So go on there and check us out. We're at communityconnectionsgrp.org. Again, Community Connections, grp.org.
Say it again.
And go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say we're also on Facebook. Follow us on Community Connections. You'll see posts, lives, and stay connected with our podcast and with what we're doing around the community that way too.
Mr. Keith.
Yes.
Mr. Keith.
Sir. Yes, sir.
You have been an amazing guest, brother.
you have.
Damn, but I just got one more question real quick. I got one more question. Bring it back a little closer. What do you say to a young person your age, you know, that between that 18 and 30-year mark who is struggling right now, who's on the verge of doing something that we know can change their life forever for the wrong direction? What encouraging words do you have for them today?
My encouraging words is it doesn't matter what it looks like. It only matters what it's going to be. So right now, where your life is right now, it may look detrimental. It may look like it's over. But if you're planning on making a bad decision, make a decision to make a better decision to better your life, to improve upon what it is that you're going through. So it's one of those things where you just got to realize that, man, God put you here for a reason. And if ain't nobody told you that, I want to tell you that God put you here for a reason. Both the man and the woman, he put you here for a reason. So essentially, it's one of those things. You just got to find out what God has put you here on this earth for, and find out what your gift is, find out what your purpose is, find out what your calling is, and focus on that thing. Because when you focus on that thing, you're going to live a purposeful life. Nobody wants to live a life where you just feel like you're going to work and you paying bills. God is essentially going to raise you up and improve your life in such a mighty way that you could never imagine. Like literally, he would do exceedingly abundantly above all that you ask or think, according to the power that works in us. So it's just one of those things where my advice is like, yo, you got to understand that you are here for a reason. Like every gift that we have is not for us. Essentially, like I'm using my gift right now. We got the brand, but our gift is not for us. It's actually for God. So essentially, what I look at when I look at my gift, is it glorifying him? Is it impacting others? If my gift is glorifying God and impacting others, essentially it's going to bless us back in return with more opportunities. So essentially you got to just understand that you got to find out what God put you here on earth for and focus on that thing and live a purposeful life.
Amen. Thank you so much, Bryon, for coming today. Give us your website one more time. www.mobrand.com. So MODEBRAND.com, and you can also find me on my business page, Mo Brand Official, as well as my personal page, Bryon Keith Official, Bryon with an O. So BRYONKEITH Official.
So that's they can buy your gear.
Your merch on there too.
So that's
how do they get your merch?
So they get my merch on the website. Okay. So mobrand.com. So if they went to Instagram,
so you know what you say? You Mo, I'm Big Mo.
Look.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Okay. He's a Moet. So together, man, together we can do this thing.
Rose don't take it.
He's a Moet.
Rose don't take it.
No, I ain't taking that.
No, he said I ain't taking that, not at all.
Yeah, don't take it.
No.
I gotta listen.
And these are the Moet singers on this side right here.
we're not.
The dancers.
We're the dancers. So we're really
how much time we got with this podcast? I'm loving it. 1 minute.
So
Wrap
you
us
know
up,
what?
Stacey.
All right.
Wrap us up,
So
Stacey.
I want to thank you all for tuning in to
Boom, boom,
our
boom.
podcast, Community
singing next week.
Connections Group. We're going to be here. We're going to give you some news that you can use. We're going to make you laugh. We're probably going to make you cry. We talk about real issues here. And so this is just the start of a new beginning.
I need 10 seconds.
Come on
I need
back.
10 seconds.
Go ahead, Mo.
He needs 10.
Bring me back in.
Bring you
Fantasia.
in.
It all begins with the first kiss. With the first kiss.
Until next time, y'all.
Till I see you again.
Thank you for tuning in.
Fantasia.
The mic's on you. All right.